Hello, good evening, and welcome back to THU TV. I'm Haje, and I'm here with my two brand new friends, Daga and Jenny, who are here to talk about some really cool projects they're working together on, and they're about to launch a really exciting new thing. So we're going to be talking about that a little bit. So Jenny, what do you are? What do you do, and what do you do?
Hi, I'm a concept artist, and I've been working in Brighton for the last 4 years, roughly, on games like Disney Infinity.
Awesome. And so you draw stuff to kind of do concepts for the games, or?
Yeah, characters, environments. We worked very closely with Avalanche Studios. It was all about bringing the Disney Infinity IP and play sets to life. And yeah, that's pretty exciting.
That's awesome. What about yourself, Daga?
I'm an animator, 3D animator, and I've been working in the past in Poland, doing some animation for a short movie, and also I've been involved in some animation for mobile games. Awesome. And basically last year I took a break and I decided to continue my my study, my development. I signed up for a master degree in UK, and just finished it like a month ago. So
right.
Last week I got information that
you're like, sweet, unemployment.
Yes, unemployment.
So. Nice. But you were working as a freelancer before that?
Just a little bit. I've done a little bit of freelance, and then I was working in a studio as well.
Oh, awesome. So you guys are about to start a project together. How did you guys meet?
We met a few days ago for the first time.
Yes, in reality.
Okay.
Yeah. When was it? Was it last year? Is it already a year ago?
It was a year ago. Like, I basically contacted Jenny because there was a new platform was launched called Artella.
Artella?
Yes.
Okay.
It's like a platform where people just, whoever has a project or an idea for some project, they can just create it. And then in case they are looking for some people to collaborate with, then they can just post information about like who they are looking for. And I saw Jenny's project. It was really amazing. I fell in love in the beginning in the concept design, and I decided to reach out and ask if maybe they need some additional help.
Yes, we do.
You did, right. So what's the project? What are you working on?
It's called Being Good, and it's an animated short film that we started last year. I think I did the first concept last year in March, and it was just a small idea. And then we started to grow it into like starting on the models and texturing and going more into the idea of making it into a short film. And that's when we started looking for animators, and people like Daga and lots of other people contacted us and wanted to join and help and make the whole film together.
Awesome. So what's it about?
It's about identity and how we as people from different cultures can perceive right and wrong in different perceptions.
Interesting.
So it's all about the idea that right and wrong are not two things that exist as they are, but they're very much based on culture, upbringing, and how we see it, how we being taught. And it's all like being combined in like our main character, a little girl, and she's accompanied by an angel and devil character who voice her inner struggle coming from like two different cultures.
Cute.
That's the overall idea.
Super fun. And so you've gone to the studio to get funding?
No, it's a passion project. So everybody involved in the project, we got roughly 50 people now.
Bloody hell, that sounds
It's
intense.
It took a while. We started with like 10, 15, and then it got more and more. And now we all got, I mean, you studied when we started talking the first time.
Yes.
And some people work, some are freelancers. And it's just, finding people who are just passionate about projects and want to do something together collaboratively.
Right. And that is what the Artella platform is for.
Exactly.
So you pitch an idea or a project and people kind of join in to help out and to build stuff.
Yeah, and
it's super fun.
It's a really new concept because it's the virtual platform idea of people not being together in one country, but coming from all over the world and working remotely. And it's super interesting.
And you use the platform also to share assets, to show work and all that kind of stuff, and to collaborate and communicate and all that sort of thing.
Upload your files, and there's also a really nice system of versioning. So basically you can work on your file, and then whenever you think that you are done, you are ready for some feedback to get from your leads, you can just you can upload it over there, save it, and all versions are saved as well. So whenever there's some problem and you want to go like to the previous version, you can do it without any problems. And
that has saved us a few times already.
Doesn't it always? Just undo.
And the locking files as well is really helpful because we had our own platform before. We had a really good pipeline manager who made a platform for us.
Right.
But we just found out that a few things weren't working quite yet. And the locking files to one user was one of it, where somebody picked the file up, somebody else picked it up, they worked on it at the same time. It's like, well, which one are we going to use now?
Somebody's going to lose some work.
Exactly, and it happened.
Yeah. Oops.
So that's really good.
But I understand that you guys are actually going to try and bring it to market with a Kickstarter campaign?
Yeah.
So what are you guys hoping to accomplish with that? What do you need the money for?
Okay. We thought about it for a long time because it was, at the beginning, just a passion project for us, and we just wanted to do it for ourselves.
Right.
But the more it grew, we thought, well, it's becoming a big thing now, and we realized how many people and time got into it. So finishing it, we need to get a render farm, and that's going to be pricey from what we've looked up. That's where lots of money goes in. But it's also, our short film is not just a short film, it's a proof of concept. So we really want to take that as a part and pitch it to production companies and take it to festivals next year.
Right.
So to get that marketing and social media stuff rolling, I think that's where we're going to invest some stuff as well, festivals. And that'd be really cool to raise some funds for that.
That's awesome. So with a Kickstarter campaign, how does that work?
Okay, it's the first time for us doing that. So we've done lots of research. And basically what we did is talk to people who've done Kickstarter before and asked lots of friends how much they would, what kind of perks they would like to see and what they would be willing to spend and how they would like to support us.
Okay, what's a perk?
A perk is things you offer for people. So it's not about like people donating their money, it's more about contributing to something.
Right.
So
I give you $100 and I get
you get something
a
in
t-shirt
return.
or something.
Yeah, a t-shirt would be something
$500
cooler. Something
and I
cooler.
get a t-shirt. Sure.
So okay, the idea is you don't just want to sponsor and get nothing.
Right.
You want to sponsor. You want to contribute to the project. You want to help us make the cool film.
Right.
But ideally, you want to get something as well. So a lot of things we want to offer is we want to do a really nice art book. We want to do 3D prints, but we also want to offer content like animation content or how we did the animation and live talks where we explain
like
how we
behind the
approach
scenes
stuff.
type stuff, or
Sorry?
like behind the scenes type stuff.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Because I think especially for THU people, it might be interesting to get into the whole material of like how things were done. Just, I mean, all the animations you did, like all the different steps and versions, so much feedback. I guess it's just interesting to see.
That's amazing. And so how much are you hoping to raise?
We're aiming for £34,000 right now.
34,000. That's really specific.
Yes.
You're like, that's exactly how much we
Yes,
need.
that's the number. It was. Yeah, it was basically, from what we've looked up and learned from other projects, is you have to be realistic. So don't go over the top and say, oh, we might want them funding for a whole feature film.
1.3 million, please.
It would be nice. It would be, but we can't print that many art books to get them.
Fair. So what is your bottleneck then? What is your what makes you being able to do something or not being able to do something?
Okay. If we go through.
Or I guess a different way of asking that question is, what does £34,000 buy you? What are you hoping to accomplish with that?
Main thing, the render farm, definitely. Right. That's going to be most expensive. Then it goes into festivals, just getting into festivals and spending time on marketing as well.
So pitching into the festivals and making sure you're able to be there.
Exactly.
Kind of yeah.
So it's going to go into that. And something people really underestimate as well is the making of perks and the shipping. So everything has to be calculated into that. And
okay.
something.
So how do you do that? To take, for example, you mentioned art books earlier. So talk about the art book specifically.
Okay. All right, the design comes from our side. So we got all the artwork, we write the text, we got everything contributed into that. And then we had to find someone who said, all right, I'm going to do the whole layout for you, just because it needs to be done professionally.
Right.
Then we contacted printing companies to see and compare how much is it going to be to print 300 art books, for example. And that would be the maximum of art books. We would say that's what we're going to give in Kickstarter,
right.
because that's what our calculations are made on.
Right.
And then shipping, where you need to like an estimate to see, okay, if we want to ship worldwide, you need like a middle way of to see, okay, for us in the UK, it's going to be cheap to ship in the UK, but what if people order from Australia or New Zealand? So you need to find a middle way, right? So we're just looking into how we find something. And it was just doing Excel sheets, lots of Excel sheets,
right.
finding a right amount for everything.
That's pretty exciting. Have you thought about VAT?
Sorry?
VAT, the tax?
From what I've heard, we are not in there if we stay under £85,000. So we have been reading up some of that stuff. So don't give us too much money, please. We don't want to stay under that.
Don't do it.
No. If that happens, we have to just recalculate and see what we do, because we got quite a bit of a buffer. before that happens.
Sure. But I'm guessing, I mean, presumably you guys made a UK company, right?
Yeah.
So this UK company, if you start making the film and if you start building that, eventually you will start climbing towards that.
At the moment, it's just me as a sole trader.
Right.
That's the simplest way you can do. It's very easy to set up.
Yeah.
But you're right, at some point it might have to become a company if it wants to grow bigger and become something more.
Right. I would probably recommend doing that anyway, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah. As a sole trader, there's lots of weird stuff that happens, but the most important one is that you are personally liable. So there's not that much that can happen with anything like this, but imagine you somehow make art books that catch on fire. That would be
Or
bad.
burns on the truck.
Or
Everything
burns
gone.
on the truck, right? And then you have a real problem, right?
Yeah.
So I think considering a limited company, I think costs £85 to set up.
Okay.
And it means you do have to file taxes, but even that isn't that complicated as long as you kind of keep a spreadsheet of how much you spend and all that
I
kind of
found
thing.
someone for my taxes.
Excellent.
I'm an artist, I don't do taxes.
Sure. But it's a useful thing to think about. So anyway, so about this art book, you found for 300 it costs X. And from that, obviously you're not just selling the books, you also need money that comes in above that. So did you calculate in a markup or something, or how did you think about that?
We did an overall calculation of everything. So first we just went with all the costs we have.
Right.
Like everything, literally everything we have to pay,
Right.
including the render farms, all these estimates. And that's how we came to the very exact number when you said, oh, that's very exact, 34,000. So that's the minimum we need to make all the stuff happen that we want to make all the perks.
Right.
And everything more is just going to be a plus that we can invest in other things.
Right. Well, and I'm guessing that also assumes that everything goes to plan, which
Yes.
you've done film projects before, right? Everything always goes to plan.
Yeah, there was a good balance. There was some advice we got was either make it cheaper to make sure you get your funding goal, but it's a bit risky.
Right.
Or make it more expensive to make sure you get this buffer.
Right.
But then you're maybe less likely to get there.
Right.
It's just a decision you have to make for yourself. What works better for you.
So you decided to actually do the middle thing of kind of getting it
The exact number,
just about
if
right.
something goes wrong, it has to come out of our own pockets.
Right.
If it's better, perfect. So.
Awesome. So the goal is 34,000. If you get 33,900, you don't get any money. What happens if you raise 5 times that? What if it gets really successful and you end up with £200,000?
That's a good question. I think that would give us a better reality for the feature film.
Right.
Because now it's just this big idea of we want to make it a feature film or maybe a TV show. We're just considering the options right now.
Right.
And I think if more comes in, it just enables us to think about the future and what else we could do with it.
Right.
And that would be super exciting.
That makes a lot of sense.
And we would pay VAT.
No, but I think it's one of those things that makes sense to think about a little bit. So imagine the world where you've raised your money, you are starting to work on the film, and everything's going pretty well. What does that future look like when you're actually becoming really successful and people are starting to get excited about the film, you're getting closer to launch? When are you hoping to start showing it to people?
Oh, you mean the short film now? Hopefully soon. So if all goes well, we want to show it at CTN.
Okay,
But,
that's pretty soon.
Yeah, I know, like 1.5 months.
You're sitting on the sofa here going, we should be working.
Well, you had your shot was done, your last one.
I still need to fix something, but
That's fine.
So how far into the process are you?
Animation's
at the
almost
end,
fine.
yeah.
Okay.
At the end of animation, and then moving to rendering, right, lighting.
Right. Awesome. So it's
Textures
basically
are
just
also-
the final rendering piece that is left over. Do you guys use a service or how
For the render farm?
Yeah.
Our producer, Randy, has been looking into options with render farms and wanted to contact a few of them. But we're still waiting to see how much we can do on our side and when we're really, really ready to submit with a pipeline of Ateller and get everything prepared.
So right now what you're doing is you're rendering single frames for full resolution, full everything to look what it looks like.
Exactly.
But what you need to do is render several frames apparently.
Get everything prepped together and send it over. Exactly.
That's super exciting. So do you contract a farm? Do you have to buy computers? Do you have to buy a farm? How does that work?
Yeah, there's 2 options. There's 2 options. I think Ateller right now is looking into options to collaborate with render farms as well.
That would be a really
So in the future, they might have services not included, but easily accessible for people, which would be really good.
Right.
And for now, we have a really nice guy, Eduard Sisterners from Illumination McGuff, really cool guy who's building his own render farm at the moment
Right.
for us to use.
Right.
So that's where we are right now. We have to see how that works and how quick we can be with that
Right.
for now until we actually see if we get the funding or what's going to happen with Kickstarter.
That's super exciting. That's super, super exciting. Talk to me a little bit more about the perks then. So what does what can I get for how much money?
Okay. You can give us £1.
Sure.
And that's where it starts. You can literally just say, I love you guys, here's £1, that's it. And then it goes up from, you can just have like little supporter badges for just £5, just something really simple just to show that you're interested, you want to give something.
Right. It's almost like a bookmark that you pay
Exactly, like, oh yeah, I'm joining this, that's
Right.
nice.
Yeah.
And then it goes up, obviously we got the art book, and then we're going to do a bit more exclusive content, like signed art books of like postcards and letters from us, and just really something more personal. But also, I think we decided to go for £20 for the finished film, the script, and the theme soundtrack. So like a nice little package of like everything.
Right.
And the more you give,
But those are all digital downloads, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're doing your own Kickstarter, you want to give something interesting, but you also want to make something that doesn't cost too much for you.
Yeah.
Because then people are just paying for the perks, and that's not the meaning of a Kickstarter,
Yeah, that's
I
not
think.
the point.
So, lots of it is digital, but hopefully interesting. So for 35, I think, you get all the initial perks, like the badge, the film, the script, the soundtrack, wallpapers, and then you also start getting the making of content, videos, animation, versions, and everything.
So you put that on something like Vimeo and have it behind a password, or how do you distribute that?
Good question. I haven't thought about that yet. I'll do that when I say, okay, we're done.
Right.
Because obviously, you can think about it now, and we probably will.
Sure.
During the next month when the Kickstarter is starting. But it's a lot of work to prepare all the perks when you might get to a point where you don't have to make them. Because if it fails, you never know.
Right, sure.
But yeah, probably Vimeo sounds good, or preparing downloads for people to access.
That's amazing. I'm super excited.
We are.
It sounds like so much fun.
Yeah, as well.
So you've gotten to a point where you're starting to show the films around the various art festivals and things like that. What is the hope that happens after that?
So right now we're showing what we got. So today I was showing some animation we've done so far, and just to get feedback from people here. But when the film is done, and hopefully we can show it at CTN, the next step would literally be getting the right advice from people, how to make it into a successful pitch, to actually take it to production companies and festivals, and just literally see where it goes from there. It's all very open. For now, we're just super excited of getting it done, like get it out there and get it final. It's been over a year now. Right. And everybody's just super excited about seeing everything come together.
How long is the first bit of the film?
The short ended up to be 3 minutes. It was supposed to be 2,
right?
But now we're at 3. Nobody knows how it happened.
Weird things.
I know.
Weird things. That is so exciting. How do you think you're going to find your customers? How do you reach the people who actually are going to put their hands in their pockets to give you money?
You mean in terms of Kickstarter, or? Right now, I think we're talking to a lot of people from the industry. So it's a lot about people that do something similar to us, that are into film and filmmaking. And that's why we keep mentioning Atella as well, because we think it would be really exciting for people to see how we used Atella to make our own film without money, without any support.
Right.
And I think putting some of that into our art book and like describing our progress, that might be interesting for people, and they might also feel inspired to support us as artists, which we're hoping for.
Yeah, sure. Are you able to reach out to that that broader audience as well to try and get some support there, or do you think that's not the done thing?
You mean in what way? Reaching out?
In terms of Artella and saying, look, we're doing this really cool thing, it's on the platform, we're fundraising, give us some money.
Artella?
Yeah.
I'm not sure they have money.
Sure, but there's other people on the platform, right?
Yes. Oh, no, okay, here it's really maybe a good point to say that we have a few sponsors. We got Solid Angle supporting us, so they were super kind and said, for your free project, you can have Arnold licenses for free, and also Frame IO, Sing Sketch, video reviewing tools that usually cost money and are super helpful. So we are allowed to use those for free. And we're going to be featured at Sketchfab as well.
Awesome.
And I think
there will also write some reviews and posts on our station and on other forums. And
that is so cool.
I think it's also very helpful that the team is very international, and basically even let's say we have somebody who is in Australia, somebody else who is in Germany, somebody else in the US, and basically everyone has already it has their own friends. And even though if we are sharing on our own the information about the Kickstarter, it's already getting to be spread out. So the attention will get, I think, there's a chance.
You mentioned you're launching in just a few days, right? Like 3-4 days?
Yeah, 26th September.
26th. Okay, that's really soon.
It's gonna be loud.
So have you guys got a plan in place already for how to actually do the marketing? To get everybody who's involved in the film to actually tell all their friends and share it on social media and that kind of thing?
Yeah, we have a marketing lady.
Awesome.
Our producer's wife is a marketing lady. No, she made a whole calendar of like how to launch, what to launch, and how to keep updates coming, and how to interact with people supporting us already. And I think Randy he got a Kickstarter book that he read 3 times, and he was just making notes and telling us the whole time, that's how you do it, that's how you look at my notes. And we're like, okay, Randy, the book, we know. No, it's, we got a plan. And we got good help from good people who've done it before.
I can't overstate how important that is, though. I've seen a lot of people put stuff on Kickstarter and then somehow assume that Kickstarter itself is going to do marketing, which they just don't do, right? That's not what the platform is for. Eventually, when it becomes very popular, you do get, if you get featured or something like that, you do start getting a little bit of traction from the community itself, right? So with the campaigns I've done in the past, I reckon about half came from Kickstarter itself and half came from everywhere else. But you have to get that first half first, which is, so important. And I'm very glad that you guys are across it, because it's the single most important thing you'll do, right? Getting all your friends to put in a pound, and all your friends to tell their friends, and kind of building up that excitement is really hard, but it's really important.
I think it's good. We got 50 people involved, and they are quite well connected in the industry. So we used, I'm not sure if you heard of Thunderclap before, maybe you did. Yep. We're using that, so just getting as many people involved early on and getting like this message out the day we were launching. So hopefully that's gonna spread the word and everybody's gonna be excited about it.
That is super cool. And you have some media coverage or anything like that lined up as well?
As you said, ArtStation did an article on us. That was really good.
It was SIGGRAPH as well, right?
We were at SIGGRAPH. We're going to be at CTN. We were at IFCC this year as well. Yeah. So I think slowly but surely people keep recognizing us like, oh, you're the people of the film. We're like, yeah.
Yes, we really are. Time to give us some money.
Here's the Kickstarter.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is so fun.
To be honest, because Kickstarter-wise, I was a little bit it wasn't my part completely, because I was just focusing on animation. Right. But since early beginning, since I joined the team, I must say everything was very well organized, even though it's just, or it is, right? And like an online project, and it's a hobby, and everyone is just working in their free time. Really, I was really amazed, because it never really happened to me that before I was working with people who are so well organized.
It makes such a difference.
So it's like, everything.
People
There's
just
a
having
producer.
their shit together is like half the magic, right?
Yeah.
And you got animation has a great supervisor as well, like Albert.
Yes, that's also the next thing. With each department, right? In our online project, there were leaders, there were supervisors, there were always somebody, for example, who could help us with technical problems, like Juan Moreno, right? Or Juan Momo, really amazing person. Whenever there was some technical issue, somebody can just post on Slack a question or an issue, and there was always somebody who was just willing to help. And even though people were, working separately in their own houses, there was always this feeling of some kind of support.
That's so cool.
Ask for help.
That's so cool. You mentioned that one of the awards you might give are like more physical products. So there's the books. You mentioned 3D prints of the characters. That is exciting.
That is.
How does that work? Do you guys have that set up, or?
Did you? No, I think I was wondering who worked on the sculpts. I think we had a few animators prepare poses.
Right.
I think maybe it was Pooja. Okay. We had a few animators prepare poses for the characters, and then it went through the whole process of 3D print prepping and getting them ready. And by now, so far we've decided we want to just offer them as a special thing at the beginning, just for a week, and just limited. So it's either get them now or get them when we're funding it, basically.
Right.
But because they're quite prestige and expensive to make, if we sell them all, that's going to be 30% of the Kickstarter in the first week. And if that works, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
And they are very pretty.
And I think that's, of course, I think that's a really important piece of the early traction as well, right? If you manage to get, I think the general stats are that if you make it to 50% in the first day, you're basically set. I mean, it's extremely unlikely. And if you ever make it to 80, you're going to make it, basically. I've never seen a single campaign that ends on 99%. It's
Would be so sad.
It would be.
I'd call my mom.
It would be. But another really good tip there, actually, is to halfway through the campaign, encourage people to upgrade, right? So make some more statues available, or make some more, right? Because then you have an audience that have proven that they're willing to give you money. And if they're willing to give you $20, maybe they are willing to give you $50, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. And I think that was really, really effective for other campaigns I've worked on in the past, where you get this excitement, and you have a group of people who've, they're definitely there. They're definitely ready to help you.
Yeah, I think it's interesting if we sell the figures very quickly, and then I think it's all about like when and if do you bring them back in.
Right.
I don't know. We'll just have
It's
to
worth
see how it
thinking
goes.
about, right? It's
but you're right. You're totally right. It might be interesting just say, oh wow, everybody wanted one. Maybe
Right.
we should bring them back in when we reach half or something like that.
Yeah, sure. Or you could figure out a cheaper way of doing them and doing like a second batch, or however you, I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of really cool stuff you could do.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you guys. So the campaign launches on the 26th. How do we find out about it, or how do you find it?
Facebook, social media. We can give you a link.
Awesome. What is it called?
Being good.
Being Good. So I put Being Good into my
You'll
search
find it.
engine and you'll find
Yes.
it. Awesome. Jenny, Daga, thank you so much for coming. It was an absolute pleasure to talk to you. Good luck with the project.